The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with Benny Mac. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unforgiving. Here's the man in the corner, Benny Mac.
Welcome back to In the Corner. I am, of course, Benny Mac, as the lovely voiceover man says. It is the Wednesday edition of In the Corner. So, you all know what that means. From across the pond, joining me, OMG, it's Tyler. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm back. It's always a fun time to join you, Benny, and it is In the Corner. You've made the tag. I am here for you. And let's just get this thing started and rolling. I am just so pumped up. I'm ready to go. Let's talk some wrestling.
Absolutely. I'm glad. Well, a little side note quickly. Ironically, we will. I don't know if anybody saw. I don't think I've released it actually yet, Tyler. I just realised I don't think I've posted the picture yet. But we're going to be releasing some side rants. We were talking about it last week where we did some stuff off air. And we just talking, having a laugh, and before we knew it, we'd been talking for 35 minutes.
We did.
And we should have actually recorded it because some of the stuff we were talking about was, well, at least we found it funny. Hopefully you would have as well.
I thought it was hilarious. I don't care what anybody thinks. I think our stuff's good. Yeah, I get tired of, all these people, getting all excited on Twitter. It's time to bring some heat, and I'm here for you.
Oh,
so you wanted to bring controversy. You wanted to see if this guy was nice. Well, he's not. I'm here to tell you, I'll turn heel whenever you need me to.
Heel Tyler, that's got to be done. Heel Tyler's going to be done. But yeah, at some point, I don't know when they're going to come out, but we are, before we start recording the show, as soon as we get on the call, we record it and we just see what comes out. Hopefully, sometimes they're good enough to come out, but there will be little bonus episodes coming out, I want to say in a couple of weeks, probably. I don't know how many. When they're not going to be scheduled. They're just going to come out when they're available.
It's going to be a surprise, and they're 10 stars, by the way.
Oh, hey up then. I don't know about that first one we just recorded, but yeah, okay, yeah, 10 stars. I agree with Tyler. They're 10 stars.
Hey, you got to make it very special. People are going to love this stuff.
Hopefully
we didn't have to. Yeah, we didn't have to make any deals. That's between us, but. I digress.
But yeah, In the Corner, side rants. Look out, bonus episodes. They will come out when they come out. No particular day. They will just drop in the feed, and they might be 3 minutes long. They might be 5 minutes long. They might be half an hour long. I have no idea, to be honest. It's just side rants of whatever's going on that week, I guess. I don't really know. I suppose.
Yeah, whatever we decide, and out of respect to Benny, whatever he thinks, and I'm going to join him and follow his lead, and we'll have you laughing, crying, and you'll probably be disgusted with me by the end of it, but that's okay. I'll do whatever I need to do for the show and for its success. Well, and you can send your hate tweets to me at Dustin Tyler 86.
Nice plug. And speaking of doing anything to get it done, Lie, Cheat, and Steal, some nice segue there, Tyler. I only called you Dustin then.
Yeah, it was.
But obviously 17 years ago, a couple of days ago actually, by the time this comes out, Eddie Guerrero passed away 17 years ago, man.
That's hard to believe.
It's mental, or not strange. That's the wrong thing to say, but there aren't many. For real, yeah. There aren't many people outside your own family that you always admire somebody or you always enjoy their work or whatever. Eddie Guerrero, I guarantee you, if I was ever an actor and I needed to cry on a set, show me that tribute video they showed on SmackDown all those years ago for him. Cry like a baby, man. And I can almost guarantee you I will be crying on cue when you show me that promo package, because I see old clips of Eddie doing stuff, and I miss that guy. I miss that guy being in the ring or being around wrestling.
Yeah, I miss him so much. That was very sad. I think everybody just had tears in their eyes because you realize just how much Eddie loved his family outside of wrestling. He grew up in the business because of his lineage, being the second generation star that he was. And you could already tell in any promotion just how talented and just what a legend he was going to become, and already was showing the signs of that when referencing Eddie. And 17 years ago, that's astounding to me. It's hard to believe and fathom even. And anytime they show highlights and watching his matches to prepare for at least a few of those for this segment was hard because it takes you back to a happier time to know he was still with us. He was alive, but at least his memory does endure, his legacy, which was encouraging, I guess, in a unique way. And I can't wait to share some of our very fond memories of Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero.
I mean, I'll throw it out right there now. For me, I'll tell you when my first time I saw Eddie Guerrero was obviously in 2000. The Radicals came over, Eddie Guerrero being one of them, and that was my first real exposure to Eddie Guerrero. And who's this guy? And the group that they were in, the Radicals, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, obviously Benoit. That's a different. We're not going to talk about all that, but that's who came over. So that was really my first exposure to Eddie Guerrero, and then Latino Heat, and obviously with China, it was the first real sort of once he healed his elbow, because I didn't realize this at the time. I remember one week seeing him out, and the next week he had like a sling on or whatever, but he popped his elbow, didn't he? He did a frog splash on SmackDown, and he popped his elbow. Did. And I saw a clip years later, and I was, oh my god, man, how did that guy still not? I'd be freaking screaming, I think, to be honest. But
I think we all would. It just shows you how tough those wrestlers were and still are.
Yeah, I mean, what was the first match you ever saw of Eddie Guerrero? And if you can remember, I don't remember his first match, but I do remember the first time I saw him in WWF at the time.
I can't remember the first match I saw Eddie Guerrero wrestle. I do know my first exposure of hearing about Eddie was in WCW before WWE during the mid to late 90s. One of my favorite matches was from a WCW Starrcade pay-per-view from 1997 that featured Eddie. Of course, he was the Cruiserweight champion, but he took on Dean Malenko. You talked about the Radicals. They had great rivalries with one another. And, Eddie's facials made you laugh then. You could see early shades of what Latino Heat, the newer persona that Eddie would have later on. And technically, Dean could be in the category alone. That's why they call him a man of 1,000 holds or whatever. But Guerrero and Dean just knew each other so well, and they're effortless in transitions, between the action when talking about Malenko and Eddie, and Eddie retained. Another memory would have to be, and this is going to the WWE now, was that title match where Eddie beat Brock Lesnar at No Way Out 2004. Lesnar tried playing the mind games, and he was dominant. Eddie helped him shine, being the younger guy. And, that's one thing that Eddie Guerrero deserves a lot of accolades for. He assisted getting the younger guys over. He did his job as the more experienced veteran. And Eddie could always outsmart his opponents, and Brock inadvertently hits the referee when he gave, Guerrero the F5, and Brock grabbed the championship, and then Goldberg speared Lesnar, and he rolled over on Brock, but it wasn't until the DDT on the title by Guerrero and the Frog Splash, and Eddie had won, I think, his first WWE World Championship, maybe his first ever world title. It was. Maybe you can help me out.
No, it was his first ever. In terms of WWE, I think was his first ever heavyweight championship, I believe. I know in WCW he was the United States champion.
He may have been United States.
He's a one-time United States heavyweight champion. He's a two-time cruiserweight champion. He won the United States Championship tournament in '96, and they did like a tournament, World Cup of Wrestling as well. I think he won it, but
they did.
But I can't remember if he won it or not. To be honest with you,
see, I can't remember. It's not that we didn't do our homework, but you got to realize Eddie Guerrero has been wrestling since such a young age because of his family's background, and he's covered so many promotions, ECW as well, I think, and I mean, he's covered a lot of ground, so it's hard to recall every memory. This was only a few. There were so many other matches, whether it's in WCW or WWE especially, just that were great. They were classics instantly.
Yeah, no, 100%. I remember when I say I remember, because of getting into wrestling, you get people who give you tapes or DVDs. Tapes to begin with when I started, and then DVDs later on. But I think it was a 2 out of 3 falls match in ECW against Dean Malenko again, so before the WCW days. for a company.
And I want to go back and watch that one because when pulling up and doing some research, the Starrcade match was on there. But since you brought that up, I did see an ECW match, and I bet that's the same one, the 2 out of 3 falls between Malenko and Guerrero in ECW.
I believe it was their last match in the company before they went to WCW. And for we all know what anybody who's a wrestling fan in general will, to a certain age will know, or at least heard the smatterings of ECW chants. But for a company that was, extreme championship wrestling and the tables, and it's been said many times, but for them to just go out there and wrestle and the fans still eating it up is, I think it says a lot, not only about the company to let them do it, but also the fact that they could do it in front of quite a hardcore fan base, really. So.
It's remarkable the way you laid it out. It's true because ECW, they had their good technical and scientific matches. They brought in Lucha Libre, the Japanese style of wrestling, as well. You think of Shane Douglas, he was thought of as much more the traditional wrestler that could do the chain wrestling, and that's what you had with Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero. They were just on a whole nother level, with all due respect. And I mean, you could see signs of greatness, and I think Eddie Guerrero was previously brought in by Bill Watts to WCW for a short run, but it wasn't until that late 90s run that I got acquainted with him.
Yeah. There's so much to go back in the archive to see these guys wrestling, not just Eddie Guerrero, but, Dean Malenko as well. I never quite, I'm not going to say Dean Malenko's run in WWE was bad, but I think he was the light heavyweight champion at one point, so he did get gold while he was there, but the group, the Radicals at the time, aligning themselves with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, what was it, the Helmsley regime, I think they called it back then, so for them to all linked in like that was actually quite good. I remember watching, obviously then he had Steve Austin come back and stuff. That's a different podcast in itself, but some great stuff in there. In terms of WWE, Eddie Guerrero is the sixth Grand Slam champion, 11th Triple Crown champion. He won a 15-man SmackDown Royal Rumble in 2004. He's been the WWE United States champion. He went in the Hall of Fame in 2006, obviously. He has been a 4-time WWE Tag Team champion with Chavo twice, Tajiri once, and Rey Mysterio once, I think.
No, you're right. That sounds all correct.
Yeah, the WWF Intercontinental Championship. He's a 2-time. One of the best matches I remember off the top of my head was a Raw against Rob Van Dam in a ladder match. If you haven't seen that, I recommend that. Although I don't know whether they would have kept it in, but at the time, I think they did quite well on TV to avoid it. A fan jumped the ring and tried to push Eddie off the ladder. Don't jump the ring, people. Don't jump across the guard.
Don't do that. That is being idiotic, and you deserve getting your tail kicked.
No, normally I'd be like, what are you doing? But you've crossed over. These guys don't know whether you're going to just get in and give them a high five, or they don't know, so they're going to defend themselves. So as far as I'm concerned, you jump the guardrail. Whatever happens to you, happens to you.
You deserve it, and you get yours, and don't whine about it afterwards. That's the way I look at it. I'm with you. Yeah. But no, I think I remember that match, but I still need to go back and review it. So that's another one I'm glad you mentioned.
We'll have to maybe just do. Maybe we should have done that instead. We'll go through some of it. I don't know what that's a good idea. Let's do that. I'm just making this up on the fly, as you well know, Tyler. But in the corner,
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, in the corner. Ladies and gents, the audience, we need you. We need you to get those claps going so we can get the hot tag going. But we need, what are your favourite Eddie Guerrero matches? And it can be from any company he was in. If you've seen older stuff, newer stuff, whatever. So let us know on Twitter at In The Corner WWE, or even email us. Try again, Ben. Email the show at inthecornerwwe@gmail.com. And we'd love to know what some of your favourite Eddie Guerrero moments and matches are, actually. And we'll, maybe we'll do that on a side rant. Maybe, I don't know, but.
Help us out. I think it's important to get the wrestling community involved, and just like BenNy said, I concur. Any favorite Eddie Guerrero matches? It could be WWE, WCW, ECW, maybe some promotions not everybody knows about that Eddie had some great matches in. Let us know. Keep us informed.
I don't know if there's been many of these, but Eddie Guerrero obviously was the United States Heavyweight Champion in WCW legitimately, and he was also the WWE United States champion as well. So that bout is, continued to grow its legacy. A bout I miss big time, and I'm not just saying it as a European in the UK. The European title, he was a 2-time European champion, and he had that quite a bit during his Latino Heat run, I believe, and then obviously he's a 1-time WWE champion. I'd like to have believed that, because he won the title in 2004, didn't he?
Yeah, that was 2004.
And then he passed away in 2005 in the November. I'd have liked to believe that if he was still with us, that 1-time championship wouldn't just be a 1-time, maybe a 3 or 4 or 5-time, I don't even know, but I would like to think that Eddie Guerrero would have gone on to, be a multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion, whether it be WWE, World Heavyweight, Universal, whatever. I'd like to think that he would have been on top of the WWE mountain again, going down the line, because he was doing some great stuff with Batista
it was
and all that back
phenomenal
before he went. But yeah, I can't even get my words out now. Lie, cheats, and steals gimmick he did with Chavo, then obviously on his own, was brilliant. One of my favourite moments to this day, and that I will say, WrestleMania 20. There we go, WrestleMania 20. Yes, that's right. When he went against Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle was the challenger. I wanted Eddie to win so much, but in my head I was like, I think Kurt Angle's going to walk out with this, but to fake the injured ankle after Angle had the ankle lock on him, undo the boots, kick it off.
It was so genius.
And even to the point where Eddie goes, oh shit. You can see him on camera doing it. He might have mouthed it, but he mouthed it so well that he goes, oh shit. Angle gets in the ring. Eddie rolls him up. He does use the ropes, and then he wins. And there's nothing wrong with the ankle. That was the first time in years at that point, Tyler, where I'd actually jumped out of my seat as a younger man and going, yeah, I was really excited.
It made you react because he was your guy. And as much as we respected Angle, Eddie Guerrero just had so much momentum with having these championships, or at least even if he didn't have a title, they were pushing him. And it was nice to see. And talk about a dream match, though. Yeah, Angle and Guerrero.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I found out after I went, because of it's been 17 years and stuff. I don't know whether this is true, but it was a rumor that I picked up online, and apparently the original plans for Mania 22 should have Eddie still been around, and I gutted. In my head, this would be an amazing match, but apparently he was supposed to take on Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22. And that would have been Michaels versus Eddie. But obviously Eddie didn't make it to Mania because he passed away in November. But apparently that was what the plans were originally. But then plans change all the time. But imagine Eddie versus Shawn Michaels.
They do. I know. Can you imagine if Eddie could have just lived, even a little longer? I wish he would have lived forever. It's a shame that he passed so young. But to have that Shawn Michaels, HBK taking on Guerrero, they would have tore the house down.
I just feel like they would have pulled something out of the hat, and I don't know what it would have been, but I just feel like one of those matches that, weirdly, it's one of those matches that I never even thought of in my own head. But as soon as I heard it, I went, oh. It was the only time I've ever really felt that was when, I forget what year, it must have been a few years after, actually, no, it would have been not long after, probably Eddie's passing, but they did that Gold Rush tournament for the Heavyweight Championship. And Shelton Benjamin's in the ring. We don't know who the rest of the people are in the tournament. And then Shawn Michaels' music came on, and I was like, damn, this is going to be a good match. And obviously the finish of that, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's Shelton Benjamin trying to jump off the top rope into a flying super kick, the super kick from Shawn Michaels. What a freaking moment. It was
incredible. Oh my gosh, yeah, what a spot.
So yeah, Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero for me would have, I think we would talk about it like we talk about Michaels and Taker at 25. I feel like it would be that level of match.
It would be. There's no doubt in my mind with all certainty that we would be discussing it just like we would Taker, Michaels, or any other great match if we got Guerrero versus Michaels.
I just feel like it would have been amazing, but it just, unfortunately, it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, 17 years ago, a few days past now, but 17 years, we miss Eddie. That guy. Every time I see clips of him doing the chair where he throws the chair at the opponent and cowers down like he's been hit by the chair, and it's just, we saw a bit of remnants of that of Rey Mysterio a few weeks ago on SmackDown, doing it with Gunther, and it did bring a smile to my face. Not because Ray's doing it, obviously, and obviously we know the history between Ray and Eddie, but I know a lot of people are going to be screaming at me right now, by the way. I got to mention the Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc in WCW. I have seen that match, and it was a great match. But yeah, yeah.
No, you gotta bring up anytime Rey Mysterio and Eddie got to face each other, and knowing how much they truly respected the other, and the admiration from his peers and from fans like ourselves. I'm with you. We miss Eddie Guerrero every day, and every time you watch somebody that was influenced by him or was a friend to Eddie, and seeing Mysterio do that against Gunther in that Intercontinental title match was, or see a sequence where it's the Three Amigos suplex, always does bring a
smile. It does bring a smile to my face. It does genuinely. I remember
that's part of it. It's living on. I mean,
absolutely.
His legacy. Yeah.
Was it Rhino? I think he did it with, and he did the low blow, but then he acted out like he got low blown as well, and it was just.
He did. I mean, Eddie just made you laugh too. He could be very serious and actually have that Latino temper as well, but he could also just make you come alive comically. Like the stuff with China was just hysterical.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Stuff they did, and Lita and S.A. Rios and stuff during that first. I think it was a Backlash. I want to say, but the stuff they did.
Yeah, it was a Backlash.
Yeah. So it is freaking legend. There's no other way to say it really. Obviously, we've got Dominic Mysterio doing the Eddie stuff at the moment, kind of, and that's getting him good heat because I think that proves that although he's doing it now, and you could look at it as disrespectful, but we know that the Mysterios were close with the Guerreros, or at least Ray and Eddie were at minimum. The whole storyline they did with the custody battle and stuff, which we haven't mentioned, but.
That was ahead of its time. I mean, that was took both of them being creative, and you talk about making it personal and having some animosity and knowing they were friends, but you could put that in a storyline. That's what wrestling was about. That gave it more of an edge, and that's what Guerrero and Mysterio were able to create. And with Dominic, and you made the comparison. Dominic's showing shades of Eddie now. And it's still kind of neat to see, even though people are like, no, he's not going to be the wrestler Eddie is. But we know that Guerrero is going to be, Dominic's going to be a great talent. Maybe not quite on the platform that Eddie was, but still, Eddie he's
got a lot of years ahead of him, to be fair. And I think if he can keep doing what he's doing, will he reach the heights of Eddie? I don't know. Maybe not. But he can definitely reach some good heights within the company, I think, if he decides to stick at this and keep going. But what I was going to say was the fact the crowd react like they do when he does the sort of Eddie Guerrero shuffle with the arms and stuff. They're like, how dare you? That guy's a legend. You are not Eddie Guerrero. So I think even now, like we just said, his legacy kind of lives on via the entertainment world in terms of wrestling. So,
it surely does. I mean, Eddie Guerrero will always have his, that influence on everybody that's watched him and who knows wrestling. Wasn't it Sasha Banks was another one that patterned herself after Eddie? At least
at WrestleMania. I forget which WrestleMania, but the gear she wore was in memory of Eddie, and because she was in the arena. I think the night I could be wrong on this, but I think it was the night he became WWE champion, and that was what really pushed her over the edge to go, right, I got to really, if I want to do this, I need to do this now, even though she was a young woman then. You need to start sort of early, I guess, to a degree. Some people don't. Logan Paul
want to pursue it. Yeah, if you're going to take anything seriously, including wrestling, and use him as your inspiration, which is a just amazing one at that, then you've got to work hard and to live up to that reputation. Not that she needed to, because we're talking Eddie Guerrero, but just like you were saying about Dominic, over time, give them some years, they got a chance to be great. Now, whether it's going to be to that kind of level of greatness remains to be seen. But I think what you're saying, Sasha knew, hey, it was a great way to respect, the career of Guerrero.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with the Dominic quickly, just he's got no, he's got his dad. Obviously, he can learn from his dad, Rey Mysterio. He's got Edge there. Well, I'm just at the time, and now he's got guys like Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, and even Damian Priest to a degree. So I think the people that are around him, as long as he doesn't let it go to his head, and gets too sort of egotistical, genuinely, not like as in like the character that he's kind of portraying at the moment, but if he can just I think he is. I think he might be very respectful to the wrestling business because of who his father is. But
I think he is respectful.
Yeah.
I just think his character is accomplishing what everybody was hopeful for would be the word I'm looking for, and he's just portraying more of that punk type gimmick, and it's coming across more natural because he's embracing it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think I don't think there's much more we can say about Eddie. Yes, we could dive right in to his back catalogue of matches, but I think we all know, anybody that's a wrestling fan for over the last 20-odd, 30 years knows who Eddie Guerrero is and knew what he brought, not only to WWE, but to WCW, ECW, and every company he was in. I think he, near enough every, at least with the ones I can find online, he was a champion in. So he's been good for a long time, and then he reached greatness, maybe in WWE, I guess. But he's a legend. Like I said, we can't really talk much more about him. I think really.
I mean, you can say all you want to, and you would need several episodes to catalog the kind of career that Eddie Guerrero left behind.
He had a freaking great career, and I'm so gutted that it just ended when it ended. It is what it is. We miss you, Eddie. Let's move on to let's move back to the present, shall we, Tyler? And let's talk a bit of Raw. We're not that far away from. Next Wednesday we'll be talking about more of it because we'll have more of the match card, hopefully. But War Games is fast approaching. It's
getting closer.
That's come really quick, really. Despite the fact this week feels slow this week, it's come along fairly quickly.
It has. Because they keep saying 2 weeks, and that'll be a lot less by the time we record a new episode. And surely we'll get more matches announced as we near Survivor Series.
Yeah, well, you've beaten me 2 pay-per-views in a row as well, so I definitely want to try and get a win on the old on the old sheet here. I'm 2-0 at the moment, and so I want to win at least at Survivor Series. But I
want to stay undefeated, but that's just me.
Well, you could be 3-0 by the time we see War Games. But one thing I want to talk about quickly. I mean, there were a few bits on Raw this week that were a bit meh, but I think overall one of the better. Not to say that it's one of those episodes I'm going to go back to, in a sense of the sort of the groundwork we're seeing for matches leading into War Games and stuff. I feel like we're starting to see them pan out a bit better. But Baron Corbin playing cards with JBL. I knew you probably like this because you're a JBL fan.
I did.
Now the clothes that Baron Corbin was wearing backstage, that's what I imagined he would be. Not necessarily that exact, but that style that he would be when he came back with JBL. Because again, it's a disconnect for me with the music that he has and stuff,
Yeah, the music, a little bit perplexing, but he did upgrade the wardrobe. I don't know if JBL talked to him. Maybe he's listening. Of course,
I doubt it.
we can hope. I was reaching for something there. Help me out, my goodness.
We have one retweet from a famous person. This show will take off big time.
Yeah, if we can get a wrestling guy to retweet our show, that would be fantastic, especially BenNy's show. But yeah, I didn't mind this segment. It reminded me of like an upgrade, a contemporary version compared to the Attitude Era version that we got of APA with Farouk and Bradshaw backstage playing the cards. And yeah, Tozawa, he's more of the comedic character. I know he's actually got talent, but that's where it just, I like the segment up to that point.
Yeah, I mean, it led to a match. Basically, Tozawa says he's never played poker before. Then we come back to the whole segment again, and Tozawa's wiping the floor with Corbin in cards, and then Corbin tries to cheat to win his money back, and then Tozawa goes cheat basically, and then they end up having a match. It actually wasn't too bad, to be honest. But I didn't even know. I've not seen Tozawa for so long. I wasn't even sure if he was with the company anymore. I don't know if he was let go and brought back by Triple H or whether he's just been in the background somewhere. We
didn't know if he was still in catering. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Or still wrestling ninjas from the Money in the Bank a few years ago. I don't know. Tozawa is a victim of I don't know so much bad creative as we don't know what we've got with this guy. Of creative. It was actually a pretty decent match, whether I like how they're presenting him or not. I mean, the guy can go. I'm not demeaning or trying to sound disrespectful if I can talk. But, Corbin, he made it you think that he was going to lose the match. I mean, that's what we're saying. It was actually a pretty decent match. JBL had some concern, which was different from weeks prior and losing the game and Tozawa with the sunglasses, it was, for what it was, it was okay. I got to admit, even with JBL out there, and even though it was a decent match, it just felt a little bit, I don't know, blah to me. Maybe that's being harsh.
No, I agree. Like I said, the match wasn't bad. Just maybe wanting Farouk, Ron Simmons back with them playing cards and getting that door set up, bring APA back. Maybe they
can we get that? And then when Tozawa comes in, if you can survive us beating you up, then you can get a match. I would have enjoyed that more than just him sitting at the card table. Now, the sunglasses was a nice part for Tozawa to, be good. That was humorous. Yeah. I got to give him a lot of credit
there.
That's
a good point, though. Instead of having a match, even though Corbin was trying to cheat, clearly trying to cheat, instead of having a match, why didn't JBL and Corbin just lay him out backstage? And that would have been more acceptable to me, actually. Now that you've said it, that would actually make more sense to me.
I try, but they're not calling me. They could care less about my opinions, but I try to throw them a bone every now and then. No, seriously though, that would have been kind of neat to see. But it is what it is. We still got a pretty good match. I don't want to be too critical, even though I probably will the next segment. So let's go.
So, sometimes I think they just put matches on. It feels like we'll just have that one. I know they've done actually quite a good job with cards. Then come back, and then with more cards, and come back, and now we've got a match. So, but actually, now that you've said it, to me, I would have done it. I probably would have done it more like, do you want to play cards you never played before? Okay, we'll play. Then he tries to cheat, and then maybe like Tozawa tries to jump the table and try and get to Corbin. JBL intercepts, and then you've got two guys on one. Put him through not necessarily put him through the table, but they lay him out in the locker room. Because you already had that vibe of poker and gangsters anyway with them, kind of, and the whiskey. So
it's kind of like the Western movie, too.
Yeah, so actually it would have made more sense, I think.
No, it would have. But, hey, it's going to happen. I get why they have to have some of these segments, but I'm with you. I feel like they kind of let's just put the match or segment because they have so much time they got to fill for Raw.
Of course, yeah. That's a common gripe on this show, and I think for most shows is Raw. It's just too long. SmackDown isn't that long. And look how SmackDown went off the air. Yes. And it went off the air, and I wanted more.
Me too. I was getting a little excited because when you were bringing up, even with the DVR, I'm going through commercials, I'm like, oh my gosh, is it not over yet?
Yeah, yeah. Even though on Raw, like I said, it's not going to be one of those Raws I go back to and go, that was a great Raw, like a Raw after WrestleMania. But the stories they told throughout the night were consistent. It made sense. Okay, this is our thing. We think just should have gone slightly different. But other than that, the layout of the show was better. But I think you're right. I think I didn't even really twig because we say it so much on this show. I didn't really want to say it, but you just take 45 minutes off that show, and I think you'll be leaving, like especially the way Raw ended, as well. You've not sat through 3 hours of it, and we got commercials and stuff as well, like you said. Luckily, we can skip through them because the way I watch it as well. But I just can't imagine sitting there for 3 hours. And don't get me wrong, a pay-per-view and a premium event, that's different, isn't it? Because it's
just too long. I mean, the layout can be better. It's just that's everyone's problem with it. It's just, gosh, 3 hours unless it's just connecting with you with every segment. That's different, but it's still a marathon. It's still lengthy.
But three out. But like I said, the overall layout of the show for me, it felt more. It had a bit more continuity to it to a degree. It made a bit more sense. I don't know how to really verbalize that, but it just seemed to make more sense of what happened through the night.
You're verbalizing it perfectly. I can understand. I may be slow on other things, but I can understand.
Two matches that I think didn't really hit the mark at all. Mia Yim took on Tamina. Mia Yim did win. Damage Control want Mia Yim to join them. We'll get back to that a bit later on. The other match, Io Sky defeats Dana Brooke, even though it was Nikki Cross that threw the title away last week. Nikki Cross is kind of a member of Damage Control. At least
we're still not sure.
We're still not sure about that. But yeah, those two matches didn't quite hit the mark for me. Io Sky's moonsault was brilliant. I mean, not just I think maybe some of it's the crowd reaction wasn't maybe there. I don't know. It just didn't. Those two matches, and even before the Miz segment was a bit there as well.
It was terrible. Yeah. I'm just going to call it like I saw it.
You carry on.
It's no offense to Gargano, but I don't like him doing comedy, and I feel like that's what they're doing. Let's debut him on the main roster. Let's have Johnny wrestling on Raw, and now we're just going to put him in this silly storyline. They didn't explain it enough, the backstory at least, for me to at least give an
you're right.
This an excuse. I'm even having trouble talking about it because it's frustrating me so much. But Loomis, I'm just ready for it to be over, and I'm glad we're finally, hopefully, get the finale.
I was ready for this to be over about 3 weeks ago, Tyler, to be honest.
The Miz is terrific. I mean, he really studies his lines or just memorizes them because he convinces me. I give him a lot of props. Loomis is great with psychology, and I know he's got the ability, but this whole stalker thing is just, I was about through with this after 1 week, and I'm like, can we finally just close the book on this chapter, or the chapter on the book, the verse, whatever the heck you want to call it?
A footnote. It will be a footnote at the moment.
A message in a bottle, and I'm not talking about the police. Come on, something. We need a lifeline. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's not. Now, comedy's good in wrestling. It's it is what it is. Kurt Angle was brilliant at it, but when Kurt Angle is one of those people that could go from ha 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 to a straight face, like a Stone Cold could do that as well. And when he had a straight face, you knew stuff was going down. I don't want to see much more of God because Gargano.
Yeah, but you could take Austin and Angle more seriously, like you're bringing up, highlighting, because they could turn around and be serious and just destroy somebody.
Absolutely.
I don't feel Gargano's got that kind of reputation. He's definitely got the skills, but to have him do this comedic role, unfortunately, with the way they were kind of doing that in NXT, and that to me hurt him. I don't mind that he went heel, but it's the way they kind of made him the bad guy.
When you brought that up a few weeks ago, didn't you? The whole Gargano. I think it may have been last week, but I know it was either last week or the week before you brought it up about Gargano not doing comedy. And I was like, yeah, that's all right. And actually, you're right. It's got to the point now where I'm like, come on now. It just
doesn't seem natural when you're not able to make it seem like you're going to connect with the audience, and even me watching it at home. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, because I've got a lot of admiration for Gargano. It's just you can tell when segments are kind of thrown together. When you try an idea, sometimes they're not going to work, and I think that's a prime example, illustration of what we're witnessing with these segments.
I just hope next week on Raw, when they have this match, because if Miz is going to be facing Loomis, if Loomis wins, he gets a contract for some strange reason, and the money that Miz owes him. I thought the money that Miz owes him would have been enough, but there we go. Obviously,
I think they owe us money for trying to watch that segment, is what they're trying to say.
And I'm hoping next week on Raw it finishes. I don't want this dragged over to Survivor Series and War Games. I don't think it's warranted at all. So it just needs to end next week. The one thing I will
don't put it on War Games.
The one thing that did make me chuckle is Miz, the way Miz dressed with the cardi, the slacks, the trainers, the orthotics, whatever you guys call it over there. Just the way he was dressed like a dad, like a proper old, not old man, but like a father figure and all this.
Johnny called him Mr. Rogers, and
that's it. Yes, and
that's actually not a bad comparison, because I loved Mr. Rogers as a kid, but he did have the garb like Mr. Rogers, and that was pretty appropriate. Now, that I gotta admit, that was a clever line.
But also the way he tried to play it in the ring with Saxton, and he was like, "Oh, look, I'm just a dad," like trying to be like almost like a political person trying to say I shouldn't have done this, and they make them look like they are really actually a nice person type thing. But even within seconds of Miz opening his mouth, you were like, this is just the same old Miz, just happened not to dress up this week, that's all.
He fooled you again. He's just trying to make everybody...
I don't think he fooled anybody, Tyler, to be honest.
No, he didn't. I'm trying to help the Miz out a little bit. Not that he needs me.
I'm a big Miz fan, and I know a lot of people don't like him. I've been a Miz fan for a long time. I was, I would say just before... because he got fired, didn't he? Then I use air quotes there, and then he came back as a masked wrestler, and then he had like trunks on and changed his look completely from that chick magnet thing he was doing back in the day. I quite liked him with Morrison back in the day. I always thought Morrison could have been a much bigger player than what he has been.
They gelled well together.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say I'm a fan of The Miz because of who he married. He deserves a lot of brownie points because of Maurice. Job well done.
One show where you don't bring Maurice up, for goodness sake.
I can't help it. Do you blame me, or can you blame me?
No, not really. I don't blame you, to be honest.
Don't try to throw that in my face.
Try to change me, sir. I know what.
Yeah, I'm an original. At least you can't handle the truth. No, I'm teasing. But the women's matches, I felt like they were fillers. That's the only point I was going to bring up about those.
Yeah, which I don't want, because I think Dana Brooke, I think, can do more, definitely, and I think even Tamina can do a lot more as well. But it just I don't know whether
it's the way they're utilized. Yeah. I think they get comfortable sometimes the way they have to book them, and because of Io Sky's positioning and Mia Yim coming back to the company, that at least these are two ladies people are aware of, and let's just get them some quick wins is the way I kind of analyzed it.
Before we get to the good moments of Raw, I know you mentioned it off air quickly, but Chad Gable defeats Matt Riddle via pinfall. Now this is quite good because both Alpha Academy members have beaten Otis beat Elias, and now Chad has beaten Matt Riddle. We didn't see Elias this week. He was apparently off doing other things.
Yeah, he's missing. Is Ezekiel okay? What's going on?
But I mean, I know you said you weren't overly... The match was good, but you weren't over... what was it? I can't remember what you said off the air now, Tyler, in terms of Chad Gable, Alpha Academy. You weren't too happy?
Oh, the match was good. I'm talking about the backstage segments. With Riddle, with the bonds, that's funny. I pop. It's hilarious. No offense to Chad Gable or Otis. I'm fans of theirs. I really am a supporter of what they do in the ring. My problem is the whole gimmick backstage is monotonous, and it's tiring. It's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, and that's hard to believe. I'm actually laid back, my personality.
Yeah.
For them to get a rise out of me, they're probably just doing their jobs, and I'm getting worked, which is good. And but I'm just getting tired of the segments. I feel like I need a pillow or something. And even with Riddle, he needs Randy Orton. He's not going to get that for a while. He got surgery, but as much as I like Matt Riddle, and it's good to see him flourish on his own, he needs somebody similar to a Randy Orton now, because I think the Bong thing's good, but it's going to run its course just like with Alpha Academy. I'm afraid of. That's my fear.
Yeah, I think when he's with others in the ring and saying, "You want to hit my bong?" that's quite funny, but. Yeah,
just to come up randomly and then have Alpha Academy, and the bonus is we're getting Kathy Kelly. That's always good. Well, I should have moved on. But the match, I'm laughing now. You got me all messed up. I'm teasing. But the match was good.
Yeah, the match was good, but I know exactly what you mean. Alpha, I love the shoosh. The shoosh, please. The shoosh appears.
Now, that is funny. I'll give Chad
appears
Gable
on this show quite a lot. The shoosh.
Do.
But yeah, the backstage segments, I don't know what that was about, really. It seemed very...
I don't either. But, Gable and Riddle worked well together. Those dragon screws, the leg whips by Gable are fantastic. And the way that the release German suplex, I think, from the top was just out of this world. And Otis...
Go on, sorry, carry on.
Go ahead. No, Otis just assisted, Gable to win the match against Riddle. But I mean, that's just some points. I actually took notes. I tried to do some homework. Sometimes I don't always get to. So I'm just being transparent. And it's not just because I was looking at Kathy Kelly.
It's just
I'm going to get you've already said Marie, so I'm just going to have to go with it. That's why I watch Raw. It's because... No.
It's just, I don't know, you probably didn't need it, to be honest, the segment, but it is what it is. Kathy Kelly, obviously.
Well, they have to do it.
Yeah, great to see her back as well, and the whole.
No, she is. She's very talented. That's what I mean. Very professional. Yeah, boy, now I'm digging myself even deeper. Yeah. I need to make the tag.
I just thought you were ladder down. Climb yourself out. Come on.
There we go. A ladder match. Help me get to the championship.
No, but in terms of Kathy Kelly, quickly though, genuinely, is that like when she asks questions and talks, it doesn't. Although yes, we know it's scripted, it doesn't feel like it with her. Byron Saxton, it kind of does a little bit, not as bad as others.
Saxton feels overly scripted. I think that's why people get kind of, bothered by Saxton. A nice guy, I think, does possess a lot of credentials. Obviously, it's just the way he comes off on camera. It's just a little bit too hokey, where Kathy Kelly can do more of the serious reporting. Like it's not too forced.
Yeah, no, that's basically what I was getting at, really.
I didn't mean to take your point,
no, it's fine. I'm glad, because we're on the same page with that. So, like Corey Graves, I like on commentary, him with Shamrock, as JBL calls him. I think they're
Kevin Patrick. Those Irish folks just can't, Becky Lynch, a big star, Sheamus, but poor Kevin Patrick. When you got JBL, you're just Shamrock.
Yeah, I think he likes the nickname. I think those two are doing really well together. I don't mind the team of Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on SmackDown, but I do miss Pat McAfee, to be honest with you. Nothing against Wade Barrett whatsoever.
It's a different energy that Pat McAfee brings. He brought himself, essentially. I mean,
a fan,
you feel like that's not a character. That's Pat McAfee. Wade Barrett's doing a great job, but it's just so hard to replace, even temporarily, a Pat McAfee, just after what we've been able to hear and visualize. I mean, the guy's just fantastic.
I mean, one of we've kind of gone off topic a little bit, but it doesn't matter. But
who cares?
Exactly. JBL, not JBL. What the hell am I on about? The King and JR, by far, JR's calls and some of the best moments in WWF history. I would never not love that. One of my favorites is Jericho winning the title on Raw, then having to give it back, obviously. But
where's my barbecue sauce? I love Jim Ross.
The spinning heel kick, and then the referee does the count. Well, we've got a new champion. I cannot do it justice, either. But the emotion that guy could release in anybody watching, in those moments where, like, The Rock would win the heavyweight championship, or the Jericho, like I said, some of the calls, the TLC at WrestleMania 17, Edge from the 20-foot ladder, spearing Jeff Hardy. JR is the soundtrack to wrestling, as far as I'm concerned.
What the hell in the cell bump that
I can't believe I didn't mention that, to be honest. But yeah, good God Almighty,
I can't believe you didn't either. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. It's so hard. It's like talking about Guerrero's moments.
Yeah,
JR's moments and his famous calls. Him and the King were the team that we grew up. It was our soundtrack. I even went as JR. I got to do commentary for an indie show.
Nice.
And it was Halloween themed, so I found me a cowboy hat, and I tried to make JR proud. And I tried to be me, but he was an influence, man, Jim Ross. So I'm glad you brought him up. That segued.
Yeah. I mean, but like in terms of modern day, especially in NXT, Mauro Ranallo and Corey Graves for me were really good. Ranallo with that boxing style sport, MMA.
Oh, Mauro was incredible.
I miss that dude as well. I don't know how. No,
his passion showed through when
absolutely.
He called.
You stick, Corey Graves and Ranallo on Raw. I tell you what, you are gonna have nothing against Kevin Patrick at all, because I like Shamrock, but like it's just You know,
You like the Irish guy.
I like the Irish guy. Yeah, yeah, that was a good accent, man.
I try a lot of times. Finn Balor's my favorite. Then no, I'll go ahead.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
It's not St. Patrick's Day yet. Well, I got to tell you, Edge's career's over because Finn Balor's back. No, I'm just kidding.
No, dude,
I want to do a comment. I want to do commentary and fake that, and then have the Irish people. That's not how we sound in Dublin, you idiot.
More than likely.
That's what I want to do. Yeah,
we all do. We all do a. I don't know. I could try. I'm not going to.
See, you got me into this. It's funny. I'm thinking of the Irish accent. You said Shamrock, and it's like, okay, here we go.
But yeah, yeah. But I mean, when Pat McAfee comes back, I actually wouldn't mind hearing Cole, Wade Barrett, and Pat McAfee on the same, just to see what they're like together. Because I think that would be quite. Because you've got Michael Cole, who's a veteran in commentary, been with the company over 20 years. Then you've got Pat McAfee, who's got just the passion as a fan. And then you stick Wade Barrett in there, who, a former wrestler, former IC champ and all that. So you've kind of got the nice mix there of,
You do.
So, Wade Barrett can give you that would have hurt because, not that they do this, but that would have hurt because of this. And he can bring his experience.
He's got that background in the ring.
Exactly, yeah. So,
and McAfee's got a little bit of that, but he could give you more to the other sports kind of feel too, where he can get animated, and then Cole's more your straight guy, where he gets animated, but you've got two other personalities that could carry that, where you don't have to do as much, and you're just doing play by play.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's another podcast right there. But anyway,
no, we could. I mean, who knows? It could branch out and be, Benny Mac's rules of commentary. Who knows? That's not a good title. You have to go back to creative.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I reckon a side rant might have to be me asking you some questions about commentary. We'll leave it there because I don't want to give it away. But I think you've done commentary more times than I have, so I would be.
Well, I have, and each time, man, if you're not learning something different, then something's wrong. That's with anything. I think it's true with commentary.
It's brilliant, man. I wish I had another chance to do it over here, but looks like it's few and far between, so we'll see what happens. But,
I hope you get another opportunity. I would love to hear your commentary. And
I'll tell you what, I was going to say something then, but I'll tell you what, we'll save that for a side rant episode because I think there's some good...
and we don't want to give and spoil everything to the listeners because there's so much bonus content and ideas from Benny Mac. He's been booking the shows, and he's not even telling me. It's like Nitro. What's going on here? It's Hall. It's Nash.
Yeah, I'm probably flying by the seat of my pants, as they say. So yeah, there we go. The reason why I say let's not overdo it now is because let's move on with Raw, basically.
Yeah, we do need to keep with Raw because I'm with like anybody. It's so easy to get sidetracked with other topics. That's the beauty of it. So we'll definitely get back to Raw and
look out for the side rant at some point in the next couple of weeks about commentary and some other stuff. So yeah. I mean, the show kicked off with... so no, we're not going to do that yet. Yeah, we will. The show kicked off with Seth Rollins, which I think was a very clever thing to do, considering what happened last week on Raw. Now, this is going to get... I apologize in advance. There may be some swear words in a moment, even though the show does say uncensored. It is. I try not to, but it is. But the way things went down last week... Yeah, the way it went down last week, a lot of fans and broadcasters... have not liked the way the whole Money in the Bank thing went down. But I think WWE were clever to put Seth Rollins out first because obviously he will remind everybody what happened last week just by seeing him and the United States title. For him to cut off the crowd and say, because the crowd start chanting, Theory, he says Theory tried to cash in on me, he failed, and the crowd started chanting, that was stupid. And then he just turned around and said, well, he'll probably be out here later so you can tell him then. And it just didn't shut the crowd up, but it was definitely kind of went, okay. The crowd went, yeah, okay, we'll wait for Theory. And I think that was a good way of doing it. And actually, by having Theory do a backstage interview, it gave him the opportunity to explain his actions, which I'd already kind of talked about on, the late show that came out on Monday. But
no, it helps though. I mean, to your point, we're a fickle people sometimes, and it's so easy to get caught up in all this stuff. But to say that Theory was stupid, I think that's the picture they were relaying from last week. But as we've come to know and find out, as with anything, including wrestling, that's not always the case. That's why you got to keep watching.
Yeah, patience is a virtue. Like I said, we both admitted we're not necessarily that patient sometimes, but Theory comes out to explain on in the interview backstage that when I did try to cash in on Roman, I couldn't get to him because Brock stopped me, or Tyson Fury stopped me, or the bloodline was there. So how can I get to a guy that's protected by his bloodline or others? And it makes perfect sense. I've already mentioned it. The fact that it was for a championship match anytime up to 1 year. The other gripe that I've got is people are saying, well, it was an open challenge. Why didn't he just challenge Seth Rollins? Well, because Bobby Lashley got there and started laying out Seth. Now, Bobby Lashley should have just thrown him in the ring and had a match with Seth for the United States title, but he didn't. He let this new aggression, his temper, whatever. We've already pointed out, Tyler, on last week's show that he's changed an attitude that he's got.
Yeah, we have. And my gripe would be open your eyes and pay attention, keep watching from week to week, and maybe learn something before you open your mouth. That'd help.
Yeah, no.
Did I miss anything? Was that coming in a little too hot or too controversial? I'll be here all week. That
was,
I'm guilty of it. I'll make fun of myself because I've done that. I think we all have. But Theory is not buried. I know it's easy. That's the narrative. Oh, he's just burying him because he was Vince's guy. No, he wasn't. He was giving him a new attitude.
I think out of everything that's come out of this, that was the thing that pissed me off the most. Was they said he's buried. I've said it I said, if you haven't heard it already, the previous show to this in the feed, I was talking about Theory at the end of the show, and I'm like, he's not buried. Just, literally, you could put I don't know, this could be a blemish on his record if you want, but in, 18 months' time, if not sooner, based on what we saw on Monday, this guy is going to be a major player. So
here's an epiphany. Even under Vince McMahon, he wasn't buried. He was the protege, so get off that. Thank you. Yeah. I'm getting a little animated. I had my coffee. Yeah, thank you. There you go. Chad Gable, everyone. Boy, I'm starting to feel like, I better not say it. I'll get heat. A guy whose name's JC, but never mind.
Moving on.
No, I'm just kidding. That gets me going. And I'm not even getting mad about it. It just gets aggravating. It's just enough to be nerve-wracking. It's like...
I think the two biggest things were they buried him, which is bullshit. And the other one was, well, why didn't he just go to the open challenge? Well, because were you watching the show?
I don't think they were watching. No. I think they picked the parts they wanted to watch is what happened.
I think somebody else moaned about it, and it became one of those things where people look up online and go,
it became the thing to do. Let's ride this train so it's popular. And all the memes at Triple H.
Fans say they want stories. Right there on Monday night last week, okay, we've seen Theory try to cash in on Roman. He's been stopped at every turn, so he can't. He sees Seth Rollins being beat up by Bobby Lashley. The match gets waved off because Bobby won't put Seth in the ring. So then Theory goes, I know, I'll go for the US title. It's a championship. It's money. Let's go out there. Okay, he didn't win the title. He had a good match against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins come out the other end looking like, the fans wanted to like him anyway. So I don't know whether he's a full cut babyface, but he's definitely a fan favorite at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking like maybe they could go that direction.
Absolutely,
maybe transition down the line. But it was still a good match. Don't hate on it. It probably didn't make sense at the time, but give it till next week. And now look at what's going on. Now all the people are going to go, oh, he wasn't ever buried. He's great. We loved it.
Fickle.
Because I've done that. Fickle. You know what? Fickle yourselves into some having some daggum sense. Gosh almighty, you're getting me worked up. This is great. This is the kind of stuff we need on In the Corner. You're not in the corner. You're not in the corner with your opinions. So wake up, smell the roses, go out, take a walk. I don't care what you do. It gets tiring. I'm with you, buddy. Oh, my gosh.
Go fickle yourself.
Where's the Tylenol? It's the Christmas vacation. I feel like Chevy Chase all over. Here we go.
Yeah, making me you pop me there. Go fickle yourself. That was brilliant. I love that, Tyler. That was amazing.
There you go. I'll put an Irish curse on you, even though I'm not from Ireland. There you go. No, I'm just kidding.
Do it anyway.
Tennessee curse. There
we'll get back to Theory in a moment with Seth.
Didn't expect that, did you?
That was brilliant, mate. I loved it. Dominic Mysterio was in action against Shelton Benjamin, and actually the backstage segment for this I really enjoyed because you've got Damian Priest Dominic Mysterio gets in the face of Shelton Benjamin, basically says, I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically antagonizing him.
Just insulting him, disrespectful.
Shelton steps up to him, then Damien Sandow puts himself between Shelton and Dominic, and then it looks like we're going to have Damien versus Shelton Benjamin. But Shelton Benjamin does something brilliant here and goes, I accept your challenge, and then points to Dominic Mysterio. And he goes, and Dominic was like the little kid in the playground hiding behind the big Damien Priest there, like going, yeah, like he was basically doing that.
That was funny. I got to admit, that was a pretty good segment.
And basically, so we see Dominic Mysterio take on Shelton Benjamin. Pretty good match, to be fair. I can't see, unless I missed it, I can't see anything in that match that was wrong, a botch, or a misstep at all.
No, it was a solid match. Credit to Dominic, and especially, again, I think, too, you mentioned it, he's going to work with Edge's dad, Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, and now Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin
to me, Shelton Benjamin is one of the best.
Absolutely. That guy at the moment, I love the fact we've seen Shelton Benjamin 2 weeks in a row on Raw. I miss his old music. I wish they'd give him his old music back, but that is what it is. But what we've seen from Shelton Benjamin, yes, he's had 2 losses on the bounce, but that guy hasn't lost it or never lost it. I don't know.
I don't think he ever lost it. I think, man, Shelton Benjamin, put him up there with anybody. To me, this was a match to showcase and help Dominic get over. And I hate it in a way because I'm such a fan of Shelton, but I get it because the way Judgment Day, they've just got so much momentum, and you have to look at the big picture, the storyline right now. Think about it. Judgment Day's up there with the OC and everything. So that's why. But, man, what a just awesome matchup. And what about the slap by Benjamin? He's like, okay, you want to slap me? Here you go. Boom.
It was brilliant. Yeah, I loved it. The match itself, the backstage segment that led to it, because it was said earlier that day, was perfectly done, as far as I can tell. It felt natural. I didn't go like, oh, for God's sake. But
it didn't feel like it was too overly done, like they had to recreate it or nothing. Yeah, it was organic.
Yeah, it felt that way, at least anyway, while watching it. At no point did I go, oh, for goodness sake. But it looked like, honestly, the way they did it, it looked like it was going to be Shelton versus Damien. And then Shelton goes, I accept your challenge, and points at Dominic. And I was like, and then even Dominic was like, I thought he was challenging you. Because he was literally hiding
He's
behind.
Like, wait a minute, I got myself in a match here. I may be in trouble. I didn't mean it like that. Then Damien Priest, being like the big brother, comes over and confronts Shelton. And I love how Shelton, it didn't affect him, man. He's just like, okay, hey, that's fine with me.
I want to see. I want to see more Shelton Benjamin. I don't know how, in what shape or form that is, but I want to see more of it.
That's the shame. We're not getting more Shelton Benjamin, and I get it. We can't always feature him, but that's one thing about the Hurt Business, and we've talked about it that I missed. We got to see more of him.
Yeah. I don't know where you... I honestly would like to see Shelton maybe as he is now, really, as a face, but whether he needs to be with somebody, or maybe we start seeing him taking... maybe he starts climbing the ranks, maybe towards that US title. I don't know.
That would be good. Maybe that or the IC title. But I know he's on Raw right now. I'll tell you what, I would love to see him and Gunther.
Oh, do you know what? That'd be a great match. I wonder if
it would be.
He's not entered in the World Cup, is he? Because he is on Raw, isn't he?
No, he should be. To be honest, that would have been a good fit. But I get it. You don't want to, overcrowd it. But man, Shelton Benjamin, that's a guy you definitely. I'm glad they're utilizing more. Not that they didn't before, because he's one of those guys. This has been his spot, but I think he could still get people over, and you still get him over by getting him a championship, or at least in a program, even if he don't win it. Just get him, elevated.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that. I want to see more of him. I do want his old music back though. Ain't no stop.
I don't like the new music.
I don't like
that new music was disappointing. I'm like, why did you change that? He don't really. Some people don't need to be repackaged.
I think actually he said on a random show or something I watched him on, maybe up, down, down, maybe one of those things, or left, right,
It's
whatever it's called.
Xavier Woods show.
Yeah. He did say, look, man, I don't like my music either. So how much say he actually has. We have seen things change under the game and stuff, so we'll see how it pans out. But he seems
I do miss good theme music. you can say what you want to, but it does set a tone, and I do. I miss like the Johnston themes and the other people that were involved at the time, during, with Stone Cold.
Music helps the wrestler sort of get over to a degree. Music helps. Christian, once he came back to WWE and had that theme tune he had for years after the fact, when he became ECW champion and stuff, it is what it is with ECW and WWE, but the music itself is always good. Edge's music, You Think You Know Me.
Edge's music is just... Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, even AJ Styles' music as well. Even the Judgment Day's music, the way it starts and everything is really good.
There's a lot of examples, even the current ones that are pretty good. But like Benjamin, there's been some others you kind of scratch your head about. But I think that's the thing. Creativity starts with the music. And I think they interviewed, Johnson about that, Jim Johnson, who we're talking about. And that's his gripe about some of the newer themes for wrestlers now. You want them to connect with the character.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like Cedric Alexander's music as well. When he had that, I can't remember what the track is actually called, but I do like it.
I think it's still on SoundCloud because I jammed to that. And Titus O'Neil, even though he don't wrestle much, he's more of the ambassador. I love that old theme he had. I can get down with that and I don't have any rhythm, but I still I dream I can dance. Yeah,
the DX music. Are You Ready? Stone Cold's
DX
Glass
pumps you up, man. Yeah.
Stone Cold's Glass Break, and I know some people don't like.
Shatter.
Some people don't like the Disturbed version. I actually really love the Disturbed version. I think it's brilliant.
It's a good version, but I guess I'm like, my tastes are kind of like the classics with movies, so I tend to go back to the original, but there's nothing wrong with the Disturbed version. Yeah. It's definitely cool.
I also liked Austin's one during the Invasion era. It was a bit more faster, and with that rattlesnake in the video and stuff, brilliant. Rock's music, obviously, from Do You Smell What the Rock is Cooking? If You Smell What the Rock is Cooking. My favourite by far from The Rock, by the way, is the Hollywood entrance in 2003 with the helicopter and just it's cooking.
It was very fitting because he was making the movies. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it gave it something more. It's hard to describe. It just, I'm in agreement. I think it was perfect for him at the time.
Even down to the simple as like no lyrics, just Goldberg's music. The whole presentation. Of Goldberg,
it didn't have to be lyrics. Yeah, Goldberg's music was very fitting. I mean, because that's all he needed to go into the ring for. It's just got like that marching sound, I guess. Yeah.
Lesnar's music as well, but that's Lesnar. Like the whole stuff's going down. Y2J's music with a countdown, break the walls down and stuff. So yeah, I think. Again with Corbin earlier, I've said it several weeks now. His music doesn't match in my head doesn't match the persona they're trying to put forward. It doesn't really make any sense to me, but there we go.
No, it doesn't. And I'll tell you a guy's music that I always can jam to, and I think I've talked to this with other people, is Bray Wyatt's new theme. I can just sit back and let myself go with those drums kicking in from, I think it's Code Orange again, and it's just, I think the name of it's Shattered. Is that correct? And it's just... Oh,
I've got it on my phone. I don't actually know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know the exact details. I'm just randomly trying to guess, but it's something to that effect. And it's so cool. I mean, there's some musical compositions that just can take you to a place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, while we're because obviously you don't appear on the other show, but what did you think about, if you've seen it, the LA Knight and Bray Wyatt's interaction on SmackDown this past week?
I didn't mind it. I definitely did not expect it, which is not always a bad thing. But LA Knight, I'm a big fan of his. I've always liked his work. I followed him back in not really his TNA run, but with NWA and stuff, and definitely had followed his career. And to see why, because he was interviewed LA Knight. I'm going back to that point, and then all of a sudden you see that whole moth, that video kind of in the background, and then all of a sudden Bray, has that encounter with him, and then delivers a headbutt, and we're going to get that match at War Games. So I'm excited. I think the match ought to be very good between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt.
Has it been put down for War Games? Is it? I didn't know that.
I thought I saw a graphic for that. I may be wrong. I thought maybe they had. Yeah, you can help verify. That way, people don't think I'm lying and just fantasy.
Hey, I'm up
booking,
for
but-
that. I didn't expect I didn't expect the altercation, but it was good, and I loved the effect in the background with the moth and everything. It was brilliant. So just didn't expect it, which is nice, I suppose, because you're not expecting it, so it makes it a bit better, I guess.
Yeah, it makes you shocked a little more.
I almost forgot about this match, by the way, on Raw. I'm just looking through the list now. Bobby Lashley did take on Mustafa Ali. Ali tried to attack Lashley. That happened. But Bobby Lashley defeated Mustafa Ali via submission. I mean, I actually forgot that match happened, so it didn't leave much of a. I feel sorry for Ali at the moment. Like you said, we've already said he's,
I do too. I just think I go back to the argument that Lashley, it's the positioning on the card, and they're trying to program and get Ali involved. It's just, it's hard to overcome what Lashley's able to do and the way they're pushing him and with Seth in the U.S. title picture currently.
Yeah, that's all. I think you've nailed it there. I can't add to that really. Before we get to I think this is probably the match of the night for me. I don't know how about yourself. The main event is Seth Rollins again, and this time he is defending the United States Championship against Finn Balor. But before that, we had Dolph Ziggler taking on Austin Theory after Austin Theory cut that promo backstage. And I didn't pick up on this at first, but the commentary did. And they said the fact that Austin Theory, look, he doesn't have his phone with him. He's not taking pictures. And I was like, oh, yeah, he hasn't. And the whole demeanor of Theory had changed. He didn't like the fact that he was called boy or, I don't know what they call
kid.
A kid.
I think Dolph called him a kid. But you were right. I mean, it was close enough.
Yeah. So, but these two had I think this match went 30, 40 minutes.
They gave it a lot of time, and it was a very...
Dolph Ziggler can have a good match with freaking anybody, I think.
Yeah,
he's
Ziggler is so underrated.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we were both thinking on the same page. That was good. No, go ahead. I'll let you. That's all I was going to add. He is so well versed, and Theory's a great worker too. I think people have just been amazed at his progression early on, going back to NXT, how he's picked up on it, psychology, and I just love the aggression that he shows like Lashley. I think this is the direction. Obviously, they need to go, and they know better than me with WWE I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with the story that they're telling with Theory, which is if you give it chance, which they're doing now, is he's had all these things. Yeah, he's had opportunities given to him. Yes, he's won, but the cockiness has got to him because he thought he could cash in on Seth, and it didn't work. And now he's actually kind of suffered a very big loss, and everybody keeps guys like Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, a month ago or so. Just over a month ago or so, have been trying to say they're all going, you are good, but you've got basically they don't say it this way, but they're basically going, you are good, but you've got an attitude problem, and you're too cocky, and you're going to get caught out one day, and it's happened. But it's changed Austin Theory's, not for the better. He's still a heel, which I like. A very aggressive. The match, I think, honestly went about 40 minutes. Tyler, I think. But it didn't.
I was about to say it went a while.
It didn't feel like it. The only reason it made it feel longer was because of the ad breaks.
There was a couple breaks in there.
Yeah, so that's how I know it went roughly 30-ish minutes, maybe a bit more. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler actually won the match via disqualification. But Theory, it didn't look like Ziggler won. Put it this way, because he put a beating on Ziggler, and then I think the crowd weren't really they weren't clapping like they normally do. Like you see him in the crowd, sometimes they still clap regardless. There was a lot of people booing him, which I think is a good thing going forward, obviously.
You want him to be reacted to in a negative aspect if he's going to be that heel, that bad guy, and they were starting to get that. I mean, that's when you know you're doing something correctly, because a lot of times we see these crowds, they differ. Some of them are more up and energetic, and then some are more laid back. And that was the moment they were getting into it a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, before I say what I was about to say, because I don't want to give it away, but Finn Balor took on Seth Rollins for the United States Championship in the main event. And Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, the history there, SummerSlam, Universal title. If you've been watching the product, even if you've been keeping one eye on it, you know that Finn Balor became the first ever Universal Champion, had to relinquish it the next night because of a shoulder injury, which happened, I think, within 3 or 4 minutes of the match starting at SummerSlam back then.
Yeah.
So we've kind of had them switch roles to a degree. Not that I wouldn't say Seth was a bad guy back then, but I would say Finn was definitely the favourite, excuse me, in that SummerSlam match. But yeah, it was
I would tend to agree that, Seth was going to be the favorite. I like this match, man. It's another dream match. I mean, that's actually happened. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. I love the story they told here. The only complaint I have, and I meant to bring this up earlier, is how many times are we going to use the broadcast table? My goodness.
Yeah.
But the story though was very well told, as you might expect with these two guys. And then I liked how they told a story with Rollins getting hurt though. I just got mad at the table. Actually, it helped in this instance. And Seth hurt his abdomen or hand. They brought it up on commentary, and Finn attacked the weakness. I think that's always important with the whole formula of laying out these matches. And you've got two in-ring generals that offer their own unique stylings that have been so successful and proven commodities that I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody is that it was not just a good match. This match delivered and then some.
For me, it did. I think for me, just because of the story and all the other BS that came with it, I think the Austin Dolph Ziggler match just takes the night for me. But that's not taking anything away from Seth and Finn Balor. It was a pay-per-view class that could have been an absolute. They didn't go as long, but even the Austin Theory match and the Dolph Ziggler match could have been a pay-per-view match, and so could have been.
Yeah, they could have been
Seth,
featured on a bigger
show.
Absolutely.
What happens after the bout? Seth does retain, but after we have Austin Theory making another appearance and again being very aggressive and laying out Seth Rollins, and then
he's tired of it. He's like, "You think I'm buried? I'm coming back and gonna get my vengeance on Seth."
He's just got that. I think, going forward, I think it's probably one of the better nights for Theory. I see a lot of people are talking about WWE have listened to the crowd and changed it. This could have been the plan the entire time for all we know. You just haven't let it sink in or let it settle or let it play out.
I think that's what it is. It's their plan. It's easy for us to overthink it and get mad about certain things.
Of course, yeah.
And, and maybe the Gargano thing. It'll make me look like an idiot, and I'll be honest. But I just have to go on what I appreciate and don't, or maybe so much that's not the right wording. What I like and don't like would be more.
Yeah, but you react to it as it happens sometimes, and that's why we do the show on a Wednesday.
You do,
because it gives me a chance to percolate basically and have a think. And do you know what? But it
gives you time to be able to think more before we respond so hastily or abruptly. So I think that's a good strategy you have there, and I need to learn more about that because I got to be honest. I'll see a match or a segment or a certain wrestling promotion, no matter what it is, and I'll go, why in the heck did they do that? Then, like the Theory thing, it's starting to come to light. Oh, that's what they always meant to do, but that was the thing. All the fans wanted to rush to Judgment going, oh, they're making him lose all the time. I wish Theory would have came out and just gave everybody shovels and saying, oh, you thought I was buried? Here you go.
Yeah.
Why don't you bury it? Go have a shovel. There you go. Thank you.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's just a case. I think mainly it's just like I've already said through the show tonight. Oh, for goodness sake, just wait. But I think I got more like the way people treat. Yes, you want to be world heavyweight champion. If you want to be a wrestler, you want to be the heavyweight champion of a company. You want to be carrying the company on your back. You want to be the guy or the girl. But for them to say, why did he cash in for the US title? It's like, how dare you? That title is freaking prestigious. It started back in WCW, and it's been around. I think it actually started before WCW, to be totally honest, now that I think about it. But
I think it was actually in the NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions.
As I said that out loud, I realized I may have effed up there. But my point is, it's a prestigious title. It's been around for a long time. And the way people talked about it, fans moan about the fact that the IC title doesn't mean much anymore, didn't at one point, and same with the US title. And when they're, making these titles relevant, And, every title is worth something. Maybe not the 24/7 title, that's a different story. But generally, a title is, it's a championship, So I just felt a bit peed off by the fact that people were like, oh, I can't believe he cashed in for the US title. They probably don't mean it like that. They probably mean because he should have cashed in for the heavyweight title. But as the story dictates, he tried that, couldn't get anywhere near Roman. So there we go.
And he brought that up during the interview, which I think was good. And I would just tell the people, and just like I have to tell myself. So it's not something I wouldn't even tell myself. The Eagles have a song, folks, called "Get Over It," and I think that's how we all could.
If I could play music
that
on this podcast and get away with it, and we were licensed, I'd play that. You play that tonight and play us out. But
that would be perfect. Yeah. Because I need to get over some things. It's kind of like me and Johnny wrestling, and it's not his fault, but it's the segment. I just got to learn to live with it and love it and cry at the same time. Oh my gosh!
I think we can move on from that as long as it moves on next week, and that's the end of it on Raw next week.
So I get tired of talking about it. Let's talk about something new, please.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought Halloween was over. They talk about a nightmare.
Oh man, right. Well, I think that's it for this week, Tyler. Thank you very much, buddy.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I'm enjoying doing the shows with you on a Wednesday. I'm hoping people are enjoying them as well.
Me as well. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
I thank you. And obviously, I know some people, eagle-eyed viewers, are going to be, well, you didn't do Superstar Focus. We have got a winner, by the way. Becky Lynch won. Tyler beat me yet again on the old Twitter poll.
I can't help it, man. When you're on the roll, you are.
On a roll.
You're a winner, right?
You're undefeated on pay-per-views at the moment, and as it stands, you're undefeated on polls. But Becky Lynch won with 52.4% of the vote. We will do the Superstar Focus next week. We wanted to talk about Eddie Guerrero because it's been 17 years, and it just felt like we had to talk about Eddie Guerrero this week.
We've got to pay our respects because being the anniversary, I'm so glad that you reminded me, too, because I would read up stuff on Eddie, and it just didn't hit me, is what I'm trying to say. So anytime we get to reminisce about the late, great Eddie Guerrero, I welcome that.
Absolutely. Follow the show at In The Corner WWE on Twitter. Email the show inthecornerwwe@gmail.com. Tyler, where can we find you on the old Twitterverse? I know you gave it out earlier, but let's just do it again at the end of the show.
You can find me at DustinTyler86 on Twitter, and I'm also... I'm not in the corner with Benny Mac on this great show, I'm writing for WrestleBuddy and GeekBuddy.com, and also I'm on the Rewind Wrestling Radio podcast, Standing Strong with Waylon Myers. I'm also on another show as part of the SJP World Media Network, Back When, with Danny and Tyler. So I'm on a couple shows now, and very fortunate to be joined by some friends over across the pond in the UK, and it's just always a blast, my friend.
I appreciate it, buddy. You can follow myself, like I said, at In The Corner WWE for this show, and myself at Benny Mac, BenNnyMack on Twitter. And that is it for this week's show. I very much appreciate everybody listening. Tyler, once again, I will see you next Wednesday for some more In The Corner. We got to
look forward to it.
We got our War Games predictions to be coming up next week as well as Raw. So going to be a busy show next Wednesday.
Victory.
Thank you very much, Tyler, and thank you everybody.
You're very welcome
for listening to the SJP World Media Network, and especially this show at In The Corner. I am Benny Mac, and we'll see you all again. Well, I'll see you actually on Sunday, ladies and gents. See you soon.